There's a saying about revenge. It goes something like, "A man may not take his revenge right away due to the circumstances, but he will remember it every day before falling into sleep. He then shall take the revenge when the timing is right, even if he must take the whole world with him." Pierre Polnareff, because that's apparently how you say it, but you guys can just go ahead with me and just say Polnareff. His journey of revenge was a very difficult one, but it's what had made his character. Now, let's analyze what had made Polnareff into the warrior of redemption. Hello guys, this is Caleb, and this is another character analysis. Now, I hadn't addressed the last character analysis for being what it was, and more of just gave you guys the video. Well, this is going to be a video going in depth on Polnareff. If you guys have any other characters you want me to do, or stands, you can comment below after the video. So, back to the man of the chariot. Now, while not looking too deep into Stardust Crusaders, I believe that the tarot cards had a huge influence on the direction of the part. Not as in it made an influence in the anime, but it had an influence while writing it. For example, let's take the Chariot tarot card. This is the card of control, willpower, victory, assertion, and determination. This reflects Polnareff's character to a T. His determination to avenge his sister shined harder than anything, and then after that he had wanted revenge on Dio for manipulating him. But while having these characteristics, he has others to balance the good with some bad. Tarot cards have two separate interpretations per card. There's an upright version and then there's the reversed version, which is just upside down. The meaning of the reversed chariot also reflects Polnareff, and those feelings are usually what end up being the reason of his multiple downfalls. The card of the reversed chariot symbolizes lack of control, lack of direction, and aggression, and if you line this up to Polnareff, this also follows him pretty well. Anytime where Polnareff doesn't keep composure, he ends up getting wounded or manipulated. Silver Chariot is a stand that relies on the user's sense of direction and control. If he doesn't have either, then Silver Chariot is nowhere near as effective as it should be. Now this is where the art begins. See, Polnareff begins to follow the path of the reversed chariot after he had encountered Hangman, the stand of Jay Guile. After the encounter, he had tried to immediately leave to continue his journey of revenge. The journey of revenge already isn't a smart one, but when it comes down to JoJo, then I guess I can understand his positioning. See, Polnareff is an honorable man, and while being honorable, you have to keep composure, because there's no honor in a man fighting with blind rage and clouded judgment. So he tries to leave, but Avdol comes to him to reason with him. Polnareff is running into a battle with unknown powers going against him. Meanwhile, the opposing forces know more than enough about him. But Polnareff doesn't want to hear this from Avdol. This is just staggering his road to revenge, and he doesn't need to be bothered with it. Now, let me take a second to bring up that quote that Avdol used to show what Polnareff's position is. "You will go for wool and return home shorn." This referencing the quote, "Many go out for wool and come home shorn." If that isn't one of the best moments of Avdol, then I would honestly be surprised, because he only has about like 5, so this should be at least top 10. How are you going to try to go after what you can't see and had attacked you? Well, logically, you wouldn't. The smartest thing would to be go in a group, but Polnareff wants to avenge his sister alone because it had dishonored him specifically and not the group. None of them can understand what he's going through, that's what he's assuming at least, but leaving your group due to clouded judgment isn't enough. See, Polnareff is in a hole, but he keeps on digging. He takes a stab at Avdol for having sense on not trying to engage with what he did not understand and calls him a coward for it, when Avdol was definitely in the right for fleeing, and when going back onto the power of Dio, you know that Avdol actually didn't stand a chance if you wanted to fight him. But this isn't about Avdol, the group, or Dio now. It's all about Polnareff's pursuit of revenge, so the group doesn't challenge his arrogance and they let him leave. Now we get into Polnareff's #1 case of arrogance and bad judgment. It begins with the encounter of Whole Horse. Right off the bat, he takes Whole Horse to be an ordinary evil stand user, having thoughts like Silver Chariot should be able to take care of him regardless, so I'll be able to talk my stuff. Whole Horse laughs his intimidation off and tells him that Dio had already informed him of Polnareff's arrogance. It's known that Polnareff makes light of the people he goes against, so he believes that beating him should be easy. Now, I don't like saying that Dio is right, but this is 100% the case when it comes to this scene. Polnareff can't directly respond to what Whole Horse had said, so he just gets on with the fight even though he's already been in checkmate since they encountered each other. So Whole Horse brings out his stand, the Emperor, and the fight has begun and ended. Polnareff had tried to combat the bullet from the Emperor, but had no clue that the bullet was also a part of the stand. This is what you call checkmate. Polnareff had lost a fight, and this right here was supposed to be the end. Imagine, a long journey of revenge ended due to your own accord. This would have been the case, but it isn't because of the saving grace known as Avdol. Even after he had been told to let Polnareff go because of his thinking, he still pursued Polnareff because he knew he couldn't do it. Now Avdol is getting on him, and he has the right to because he had already proved his point already, and the worst part is that Polnareff knows it's all true. He's completely overwhelmed by Avdol speaking because he had just been caught in what Avdol said was going to happen. Now, to put this into perspective, have you ever had a time where someone told you something bad was going to happen if you did or didn't do something? For example, a friend tells you that looking on your phone is going to get you killed if you're not paying attention. Now that same friend grabs you and pulls you away from crossing the street because you didn't notice the crossing signals because you weren't paying attention. You're caught in a you were right situation, and it's not a situation that people can easily agree with. Being proved wrong can be a shot at someone's ego, and in the case of Polnareff, his arrogance had been cut down because he was shown to be stupid for engaging. But what happens? Well, let's revisit that scenario I gave you. What if that friend that pulled you away couldn't? What if you were too far out and the only way to get you out of harm's way was to push you to safety? And then this ends up costing your friend their life. And now, look at you. You were warned that your deeds could cost you your life, but instead of you being the one supposed to meet your fate, it had ended up being the one that had warned you. The worst thing about mistakes isn't if it's all on you. The worst thing about mistakes is that it's because of you, but it harms someone else. Now, this would probably be the worst case of a mistake done by someone, and the thoughts right after said mistake would probably be, I wish it was me, it should have been me, and why did they help me? This isn't trying to blame the person that saved you. This is a feeling of a deep guilt. This is a deep guilt that cannot be recovered from when it's a situation like this. It was your fault, and you were supposed to be the one that should have gotten caught in the mess, but it wasn't. The feeling of wanting to take the bullet that was meant for you, and in this case, it's actually literal. We see Polnareff display his arrogance temporarily, but it was fake. He shows his true feelings on this, and it's genuinely hurting him. Having to lose another person close to him is a terrible feeling, and I can probably bet that the feeling of losing someone and it being your fault is even worse. He had gone on this journey of revenge, but in the first quote, I had already told you guys how revenge goes. He then shall take the revenge when the timing is right, even if he must take the whole world with him. The whole world is supposed to be the man's whole world, meaning his life, and in this case, the path of revenge had taken the world of someone else. His journey of avenging his sister had led him into losing one of his best friends, but was it because he wanted revenge? No, it was because he lost his way when doing so, and everyone knows not to lose their way. It even goes with everything, so you can understand that it's a common thing. Kakyoin, stand user of Hierophant Green, based off of the tarot card, the Hierophant. The reason why I bring up the tarot card into this is due to its meaning. See, the Hierophant tarot card can be interpreted in real life as a wise mentor. It also stands for group identification and conformity. We get exactly that when Polnareff realizes he actually can't just do this alone. Now we have the wise Hierophant leading the chariot, and it begins to work this final masterpiece together. See, originally Polnareff believed that he was going against a man that had lived in the world of mirrors, meaning that he would be untouchable. Kakyoin points him in the right direction, saying that he really is wrong, and then there's no such thing as a world inside of mirrors. Oh, Kakyoin, man, I really wish that you were still around to know, man. That would have been great. So Kakyoin and Polnareff had seen through Hangman's ability, and the first read they got on him was a very strong hit. They encounter the man who they think is Jay Guile, and Polnareff unloads this speech onto the man, and while it's very noble and a very strong speech, it didn't matter because it really wasn't Jay Guile. So Polnareff had got played again and now got put into a trap when being surrounded by all of those people. Jay Guile had the advantage from jumping eye to eye and taunted Polnareff, which had caused him to start getting mad again. But the man, the myth, the Hierophant Kakyoin leads Polnareff once again, easily seeing through the trap and gave Polnareff one needed chance to finish Hangman. He cuts down the Hangman, and now this is the end for Jay Guile. All of these years, the lengths he had traveled, the sacrifices that he took, all for this final moment. This right here is why this video was even made. The chariot is back with a vengeance and has something to do that the guardians of hell cannot do for him. And that's... And that, everyone, is the art of revenge. Now, to me, this is the best Polnareff moment there is, but at the same time, I believe it could have been worked on a bit more. If you're going to have all of this build up for this specific moment, you would at least like to make the scene of Polnareff stabbing Jay Guile up a bit longer. The anime did a really well converting over, and I really do enjoy this scene. And I still get hype when Polnareff yells in this, and this actually gets me to the point of where I'm also swinging a knife around with him. But all in all, it was a tad bit anticlimactic after the whole stabbing and all, if we're going to be real. But let's finish this off with a question. If you could act on your revenge, would you? Comment below, and just remember to also dig 2 graves if doing so. Also, do not forget what character or stand you want to see in the next of these analysis videos. So thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram if you haven't. The Instagram is still pretty new, so I'm getting that up. But until the next one, guys, I'll be out there liking, retweeting stuff and all of that. So peace out and Godspeed.